Order, it's 4:08. Okay, so, I don't know, who's there on the screen? I see Neil.
You got Neil and you got Tim.
Tim and his,
You'll need that, then you got Sean, and then Collins, you're one, and
Okay, perfect. And we have the documents you sent, but they're really tiny for us when we print them out.
well, and I can share my screen, and no, it's not necessarily huge for you guys on that end, but, we can go from there. Mike, how do you wanna begin with this?
Yeah, I suppose we could start off with the demolition side and just work our way through, the final page and the settling because in every, it's really not a value, but, the first three sheets are kind of gonna be very similar, in nature. Effectively, what we're showing is that,
Mike,
it's creating a bit of
figure out.
Yeah, I apologize. I tried to join with the link, but it said the URL was not valid.
So, forward it.
Or it's not, I'm sorry, the meaning of the join URL doesn't exist. Please check the join URL.
So Sean will email you the link and hopefully that'll work. But if for some reason it doesn't, I will join on my machine so I can.
oh,
Nice.
Wonder if I can, I'm gonna try to use this access code and do it more directly. At least if that works then. I'm on a cell phone, so I won't be able to stay straight anyway. Alright, I just got it from Stone.
Hey Neil, while they're doing that, I sent you an email
Yeah,
about combis.
yeah, we're
Okay.
good.
Okay,
Just so you know, the RFQ was posted this morning for the trade and GC qualification. And as of, I don't know, 2:00 this afternoon, we had 14 requests.
wow.
wow.
So everything seems to have been posted and there seems to be some interest.
Good.
Good.
Alright, test.
Mike,
Yeah, we can very good.
Okay. So again, I am on a cell phone, so I wouldn't be able to, share my screen, but, I guess I can just speak to the project in general.
Remind Tim Whitman one. On your end. Initially. Okay.
What? I couldn't understand you, Tim. What?
Can you give me share rates, presentation rates?
Oh, yeah, hold on. Let me see if you can't do that. I'll text Kathy.
County found where I want to go, so take on 1 minute. The share rates on the EM student one. So,
I thought we've done that before.
He has to get it through us.
Yeah.
Did you see it? Are you getting it, Tim, or no?
Yeah, she did make me a presenter, so
So it has to be her.
Kathy would have to make me the presenter.
hang on, we download.
Okay.
Just make it less good. Gotta love technology.
Hmm.
What was that?
stuff, and then we have. I don't know, I can't figure it out.
Just let him in. I think,
He's figuring
I
it
think
out,
I
right,
gave, he made them permission before, I think is what he
Right.
said.
right. It's gonna be late.
I know, Randy got a tuna. These days. Right, got a tuna grain.
Yeah.
I'm eating, 'cause I didn't eat since like, I ate this morning.
Yeah. Yeah.
Working on it's not working.
Okay, hold on.
Well, again, if we can try it, I can try to speak in general terms to the project and, see if that gets us somewhere if you want.
Yeah, probably at least to get going.
Center.
Presenter.
Because they have a copy I sent through of those drawings and. I think we can figure this out before, why don't we speak to.
Just get the.
So again, I'll refrain from using sheet numbers, but effectively our demolition is showing is that we're gonna be removing the steam convectors, through walls, and ventilators, throughout the active work portion of the space. Inside of the town offices specifically, the new partitioning and the new way this is all being broken up, it wouldn't be conducive. Items would be oversized anyway. And then in the interest of the electrification portion, we would want to have better control and interlock. So if we were looking at the first three sheets, and again, the intent of the demolition, we are going to be removing the steam convectors, unit ventilators, unit heaters, and basically anything steam fed on that portion of the building. To get into the new systems, when we look at the town offices, we have a variable refrigerant flow system, the mini splits people are typically used to talking about. And in this case, we zoned it out so that the offices each get their own individual zone control. So everybody will have a thermostat. All of the units would then tie back to a central point, controlling the thing like a manifold box. And that will feed to an outdoor condenser. So the primary source of heat for this section will be electric. We will incorporate some minor hydronic unit heaters and things like that, and I'll get into that a little bit more in a second, but there will be a little bit of supplemental hot water heat. In terms of ventilation, there'll be 4 ERVs located throughout the building. The first one serves the town offices, and that gets ducted into each individual zone. So we have, into the return leg of each zone. So again, you'll have independent control of each of these sections of the office, and looking here, we have 14 zones in total. When we come down into the senior center portion, we have a couple of small office type sections, starting with the high and low near the kitchen and down at the lower portion of the building. That's going to be, again, the same concept. It's just going to be a smaller system. There'll be a multi-head system, variable refrigerant flow. Again, there'll be an ERV to serve the lower section of the offices. when we come into the, main rooms, the dining room, the function room, we utilized, conventional split system air handling units for this. And those will be fed from, hot water coils, so these will not be electrically used, will still be off of the boiler. And then it would be a refrigerant-based cooling system. Each again individually have, we have an ERV, the mechanical ventilation to the cafeteria section. I already described the one for the lower offices, and then the third one would be the gym. Now, to get hot water, and one of the reasons we're looking at, utilizing a hot water distribution is for two reasons. First, you have an existing boiler system there that needs to be maintained, that needs to have some appropriate loading to it. The rationale behind converting from steam to hot water is that it's going to give you a better load control. It's going to give you a better interlock with the new systems that we're putting in. Another rationale is in the future, if you wanted to, when the need comes to replace the boiler, given current energy codes, looking down the future, hot water is just a more efficient manner of distribution throughout a system. Again, it's better part load control, it's better integration control into the other systems. We can use it as a second stage when when the VRF rather is starting to hit deration. Deration starts to, it depends on who you ask. Deration starts somewhere in the high 30s, maybe 40 degrees. It becomes really noticeable around 36, 37. And most times the controls aspect of this will end up being that it'll monitor where it's going to be most efficient at, and then logic programming will dictate, if it's set at 36, 37, what have you. Um, each building's a little bit different based off of shape, loading profile, etc. But that's the system in a nutshell. We did try to take into account the electrification that we were asked about initially. Again, that's why we did the back offices the way we had done it. And then when we started taking a look at the larger spaces, we knew we were getting into a conventional air handling system, just because of the overall size and there's going to be so many different heads serving one space. It provided us with a good opportunity to again put some loading back onto the existing boiler system that's currently in place. So that's the speed, if you will.
Did you say that we were planning to replace the boilers as part of this project or not?
No, not under this project. So we will impact the steam system. So we will put a shell and tube heat exchanger inside of the existing mechanical room. They're not very big. But that will convert steam to hot water for us and allow for future integration.
Okay.
Is this supposed to be like one of our savings? Is that the point? That's one.
What was that, Mr.
Keeping the old boiler system, I'm assuming that's to help us with the cost.
Yes. If memory serves, I'll pull it up here too, but I know there are two boilers down there. One of them is actually relatively new. I remember saying 2016, but I gotta double check it before I put my mouth here.
No, 2017, we decommissioned it and left it in 2018. I don't know.
That's a good question.
Since the year, oh, I was mistaken, it was 2005.
Okay, that makes more sense.
What's the anticipated life of a boiler these days for steam?
Cast iron sectional typically is about 50, somewhere 40 to 50.
Do you know how old the secondary boiler is?
I don't know that offhand. Bear with me a second, I'll try to pull it up. There's the plate. Let me see if I can grab it off the serial number.
Yeah.
So that would be, hmm. I think it's gonna be 1993. It's a little strange because the nomenclature here doesn't list out an N for the 93. Normally that first letter is the month, but the letters all go up to M, so I'm not sure what N would be. It does follow the same profile here for the serial number, so I'm guessing it's at least 1993, and I'm not sure what month.
And you said it was a 50-year lifespan?
50, yeah. You can easily get 50 out of them with, regular maintenance. There obviously is the, overall use of the building. I don't know what the maintenance schedule on these has been over the years and what have you. But typically, if I'm putting in a new boiler, I say you get 50 out of it.
Is there anything that we, understanding that that building has essentially been mothballed for 5 years, is there anything that we need to do to the boilers to condition them or get them ready for regular service?
I mean, general maintenance through would not be a bad thing. Cleaning out the breaching, chambers, checking the nozzles for the burner assemblies, things of that nature. The nice part about cast iron sectionals, whereas, yes, they don't have the efficiency of condensing boilers, is, they're pretty well, big blocks of cast iron, so as long as they're regularly cleaned, they typically work well.
And would that cleaning be part of the contractor's work, or should the town anticipate doing that outside of the contractor's work?
I would do that outside.
Okay,
If we haven't done prior to bidding for whatever reason, the maintenance contractor comes back saying, oh, you might have problems with, this, that, or the other, we can also always include, their work or, something. I don't see any, again, doing this semi off of memory, but I don't remember seeing anything that was of, immediate concern. I know the floor and there was a little bit wet, the last time I was in there, but I believe that was an unrelated item.
I believe those have been maintained over the last few years, because we have, granted the temperature's been down, but the building has been, had water going through it the entire time, so and I believe they have been, routinely maintained over the years.
I'm just gonna ask that, I'm pretty sure.
okay.
It's actually the distribution that you're typically more worried about, but again, another reason why we wanted to stay away from having this team any more than we had to. A lot of times, if you're trying to unthread or break joints, that's when you start running into problems on the steam piping side. The boilers themselves, again, they're workhorses.
So Tim, are we moving on to the other floor plan?
Is there anything in particular you want to review for the electrical side, Mike?
The electrical side, currently we're, putting together calculations to size up a new service for the building. I know, Tim, we discussed the other day, just locations for the outdoor, meter sockets, CT cabinet, disconnect, things of that nature. Specifically in that corner of the building, where we have the lower level access and that area way, the raised walk, if you will, out behind the building.
Yeah, so
Um,
to help you guys locate that, if you think of the north wing, which is around kind of all component where that meets the main point of the building, so when you're facing the entry, it's on the left, that raised walkway, building sort of arrangement in the corner of that is what Main Street.
and right now, it's an exercise in, what fits where. It does appear that we're gonna have to do something in that corner to get the external equipment with proper service clearances. I know that one of the considerations is, surrounding that area way, adjacent to it to the right. We have a couple of viable options. The oil vents do come through there. Um, but in the event that we had to modify those, it's very short work to either extend them or, to the side or what have you. It's not a very big impact. Um, I think whatever we do to create flat ground is gonna be a larger impact. I don't know if anybody knows if that walkway there is solid concrete.
I thought it was. I thought that ramp on the left where you're loading dock and you're bringing the food into the cafeteria part,
Yes,
I thought it was.
Solid all right down.
I think so.
So that's not hollowed out.
I don't know, cause, no, not to say I've never been on kitchen.
it's only, if I had to guess, it's probably down. Because you can't see a joint
Yeah,
in what was I between the slab and the foundation wall. Which would indicate to me that it's not just a huge chunk of concrete.
okay.
Your one of those is a void block or it's been filled with.
Well, I think that section that came up the wall was actually put on after too. Speculating on. But electrically, right now, we're proceeding with the fire alarm side of things. We have our lighting. Um, Provided that the approach on the HVAC is appropriate and everybody is, in agreement with it. We have a good understanding of our loading for the building, so we'll start our service counts. If we've got preliminary service counts to again get us into, it's gonna be this big of a CT, this big of a meter socket. We can really firm those up. And that'll also coincide with the sizing of the generator, so we can start getting an idea around the footprint for that, the fuel necessary for that. Um, I believe we landed on diesel for the generator, so there's no discussion of propane or separations or anything like that. In terms of the actual service, again, as we're getting deeper and deeper into this, we may end up utilizing that existing transformer vault downstairs to bring in some of the main equipment. And then utilizing the two storage closets, existing on the first floor there, as our new electric rooms.
Are you still gonna have access to, because that's the roof access as one of those rooms? Is there gonna still be,
Yes,
Yeah, that's one of the items he and I have been talking about in terms of just working through how those fit in and getting clearance and work.
and another reason that we are looking at that lower level space for, again, more mobile equipment. So that way we're only throwing sub panels and smaller equipment, in those upstairs closets. So we can avoid things like the roof hatch and, having to, the availability of maybe double lining the walls. Your main year, you'd only be able to utilize one wall on either of those. With a smaller, 200 amp panel, you might be able to line both sides.
Any other questions? Comments or concerns? Or the generally seem to make sense?
Makes sense to me.
okay,
Yeah.
They're the experts.
Okay. So we'll proceed accordingly. One of the items that we are coordinating, and unfortunately, since we can't share the work, I think what we'll do is we'll follow up with an email, with an updated, plan looking at the town administrator area. We've done a little bit of shuffling there based on that being a good, general location to bring the riser in for fire protection. So we need to create a sprinkler room. So we've made, Sean and I, some adjustments in there, to create that closet. Doesn't really change the space allocated in terms of individual spaces, but does move some things around. So we want to run that, just to make sure from a standpoint of spaces and how they interrelate to each other, that that's what works and we enter and access that sprinkler room, it's still good.
All right,
So expect that later tonight.
all right. And you want a definite from me, answer back?
I think if we can answer back by the end of this week is fine. Because I also want to send it through to Mike just to confirm his status that what we're doing works. We've got a guide for him, but we want to make sure that it works on his end as well.
All right,
Very,
The other piece, I think I can throw out there, and this is more just informational, for the subcommittee and then later for the building committee is, for the sprinkler, pump house. One of the things we're looking into and doing some research on is, given the size of it, we may be able to approach that as a, pre-manufactured structure, that you literally bring to the site, from the site.
and what'd you call that? Freestanding structure?
Pre-manufactured, so you can think of it like when you see that house that's being drawn behind the pillar.
Yeah.
It's not really that, but like that, 'cause it's already built. Something we're looking into and doing some research on.
yes, that's what I was thinking.
Did you have a comment on that, Neil?
Tim, are you thinking like precast or metal panel, or what's your,
That metal panel is what I'm thinking,
okay?
insulated metal panel. Because I've kind of been looking at two things, whether we go with a pre-engineered, sort of Butler style building, or if we go with some, which that's something where you get kit parts and it's built on site versus a pre-manufactured where the structure we're looking at is roughly 15. So it's not that large for potentially to get something that's either larger pieces that come together or even completely built and just on the site. Which all of those things, the more you can do off-site and just bring on-site, usually the better price you get on something like that. If you can build it in the shop. So more to come as we develop that. All right, and then you should have my email from earlier today with the list of alternates and cost savings.
Yeah, that's been sent out. So we should be ready for Tuesday, next Tuesday.
Very good. And Sean and I have been talking in terms of support information and documentation for the flyer. The plan shouldn't be an issue to kind of clean that up and pull together. In terms of renderings, I don't know if we'll have them for Tuesday. We're gonna try it. But we'll definitely, we have someone who's gonna be working on it next week,
Sure.
so. That's all I have that.
We don't have anything, do we? Nope, it was all you, Tim. so-
Yeah. No, we're good.
Thank you.
Anything that you need to run through, Neil?
I think we're good. The advertisements are out and, the pre-qual is up on Bid Dogs.
Perfect.
I think, I don't know if you were with me, I don't know if you were on earlier, Tim, but as of 2 o'clock, I think we had 14 or 15 downloads. So we're getting interest, which is good.
Awesome.
I'll check it probably again, end of the day, Thursday or Friday. And I'll email it out to everyone, and if there are any vendors that you can think of that might be interested, let's try to stir some interest and get them in,
Sounds good.
okay?
All right, sounds good.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
All right, thank you, folks.
All right, motion to end the meeting.
Motion and meeting, second, third, fourth, second,
My favorite.